This video has been produced to provide an overview of the procedures and techniques used in roller shutter installation. A professional installer will carry a wide range of tools in their vehicle. This selection of tools would include several chisels, a handsaw and masonry hammer drill, at least 2 cordless drills, a general purpose drill, a quality drop saw, a bench grinder for sharpening drill bits, a vacuum cleaner and power saw such as a jigsaw, several types of ladders and hand tools. The installation job will be much neater and quicker if you have the right tools for the job. A carpenter's tool belt is a vital time-saving accessory and should not be missed. This shutter will be a face fit or on-wall installation. The shutter will be fixed to the face of the wall. Window sizes are compared with a check measure form to ascertain the shutter overlap. The accurate shutter size is marked on the wall to determine the guide position. This provides the shutter overlap, which is then projected to the top of the guide. The vertical lines will show the overall size of the shutter so the fixing holes can be drilled. Holding the guide against the wall, the top of the guide position can be marked, giving a reference point for the control hole. Here we are using an end plate as a template to mark the control hole position. Note that the top of the guide position and the shutter overlap sizes are used to mark the centre. It is vital that the control holes are in the correct position for accurate alignment with the shutter. The guides are pre-drilled with a 6.5mm hole and then a 10mm hole in the face. There should be at least 3 fixing holes. As this window has no sill, we will need a bottom for the shutter to close on. In this situation, a small piece of angle is riveted to the bottom of the guide. It could be an angle to the width of the shutter, or a guide end cap could be used. The fixing holes are marked using the guide as a template. The holes are drilled in the wall using a 6mm masonry drill. Masonry wall plugs are fitted, ready to accept the guide. The shutter is placed on the ground adjacent to the window in the inverted position. There are several types of tape guides, but for this installation we will use a slotted tape guide. The guide will protect the control tape against any sharp edges. This type of tape guide will fit firmly into a 20mm hole. Once installed, the tape guide should be checked for alignment and position. In this situation, we have a 2-man installation team. However, this process can be done quite easily with one. The assembled shutter is now lifted into position on the wall and aligned with fixing holes. The fixing screws are fitted into the pre-drilled holes and tightened with the aid of your battery drill. Once the shutter has been checked for correct position, the remainder of the fitting screws can be fitted. The hole in the back of the shutter should be in perfect alignment with the slotted tape guide. Here we are using a piece of wire to pull the control tape through the wall. The shutter curtain can be rotated so that the start of the control tape can be attached to the wire. The control tape is pulled through the wall and the curtain is rotated so there is sufficient tape on the inside. By removing the curtain retaining tape, the bottom bar can be fed into the guide and allowed to come down. This can be controlled from inside the home. The protective bottom bar tape is removed. After checking the shutter operation for jamming or excessive clearance, the hole caps can be fitted. The control tape is fitted securely onto the strap mechanism and the strap is fitted to the wall. Before any shutter is finished, the top locking system must be checked and adjusted if necessary. There are many types of windows that shutters can be attached to. This one is a corner window. Corner windows use a combination of face and reveal fit techniques. The control hole is always away from the corner and in the reveal section of the shutter. First we mark out where the shutter will fit. This is done by marking the back line of the shutter on the brick sill. Here the installer is marking the top of the guide position using an end plate as a template. After cutting the sill angle on the guide is placed in position and checked for length. The guide will be cut to the required length if necessary on an electric drop saw. On a corner window, all the guides will be the same length. With the guides now cut to length, we can use the guide and end plate as a template to mark the control hole. The guides are pre-drilled for the fixing screws with a 6.5mm drill bit and are then used as a template for the hole in the wall. The side entry hole is made using a small masonry drill to break away the back portion of the brick. The centre of the hole can be projected across to the window glass. This will allow you to find the hole centre from inside the room. Measure and mark the hole centre on the internal wall. As this is a double brick home, there will be a lot of dust created by the masonry drill. Using the vacuum cleaner will prevent the dust from spreading throughout the house. Start the hole with a very small drill bit and progressively increase the size. The finished hole will be 25mm in diameter. There is no support for the guide on the corner side of the window, therefore a corner plate is fitted to the bottom of the guide. The holes are drilled in the sill, ready to accept the corner mounting plate. The two intersecting shutters will support themselves at the top. Masonry plugs are fitted to the sill in readiness for the shutter. On a side entry system, we need to fit a roller to the shutter so the control tape can freely run round it. The roller, known as a window roller, is riveted in position at the bottom of the head box. Once the guides and window roller have been fitted, the shutter is ready to be installed. The complete shutter is rested on the windowsill and aligned in the correct position. Now the fixing screws are fitted into the pre-drilled holes. A piece of wire is used to thread the control tape through the hole, ensuring the tape is aligned correctly around the roller and spool. On the inside, we will need to fit a side entry system which comprises of a side entry tube and a cavity roller. First, measure the hole for length and cut the side entry tube to the appropriate size. Now the cavity roller can be fitted and the tape fed through the tube. Thread the tape through the roller and fit the roller to the tube. The complete side entry tube is now fitted to the wall, and after checking for smooth operation, the control can now be reassembled and fitted neatly to the wall. Now the shutter is fitted, the bottom bar is led down into the guide section. The bottom bar stoppers are turned to the lock position to stop the bottom bar from going right into the head box. The head box is now securely fixed to the lintel by drilling through the head box and fixing with small self-tapping screws. This is another version of a corner window, a 45 degree rather than a 90 degree. And for this we will use a cover plate. The cover is measured against the window and cut to the exact size. The protective tape is removed from the guide and fixing holes are marked and evenly spaced. The shutter operation should always be checked prior to the finishing touches. Be sure the curtain runs smoothly without any excessive play or jamming. Now the guide cover plate can be riveted into position. The shutter is completely fixed and the operation has been checked. We can now rivet the cover plate onto the head box. The cover plate fits neatly onto the head box and is fastened with pop rivets. On a motorised shutter, the hole is sometimes drilled after the shutter is fitted. This hole is drilled through the end plate and into the wall cavity. The electrical cable is fed into the wall cavity to be retrieved from inside. On motorised shutters, a safety plate is fitted to prevent the cable becoming entangled. In this situation, the switch can be fitted to the wall directly inside the shutter. It is common where single shutters are fitted to use an existing switch plate. Where there are several shutters or the switch is in a difficult position, the electrician may decide to run the cables through the roof cavity. This would be common where there are many shutters connected to a common switch plate. In some cases, the power supply may have to come from the roof, where a junction box will be used to connect the wires. From the roof, the electrician can run the wires down the wall cavity to the switch inside. All motorised shutters have a stop switch to stop them from travelling too far. The limits must be set on every motorised shutter. This is done by running the shutter to the desired position and releasing the appropriate switch. Any damage to the wall around the control hole should be repaired with some form of filler or compound. Sweep the window sills and wipe down the shutters. Vacuum inside the home and be sure there is no drill dust left over. The inside and outside of the home should be thoroughly cleaned to the condition it was when you arrived. Operate every shutter several times to ensure everything is working as it should. Once you are confident all the shutters are working 100%, it is time to demonstrate them to the customer. Ensure you demonstrate each of the controls and don't assume the customer knows how to operate them. Explain to the customer how to clean the shutters and any special instructions for that particular job. Another satisfied customer and another completed installation.